Google Ads is a very complicated thing, and there are a lot of settings out there that are just going to waste your account money. And this video, I'm going to tell you the top settings to turn off on Google Ads, which will save your business money and also bring the sales in. But just before we get started, if you want a free Google Ads audit where I will check your account completely for free, no strings attached, just get in touch and we can set one up. The link is in the description. But now let's get into the video. The first setting we're going to talk about is the auto apply setting, and there's numerous reasons why I recommend you to turn this off. First of all, you can find it within the recommendations and then auto apply settings, and if you have them turned on, you will see some of them ticked. And the reason why this is so bad for your money is that Google will make decisions based on some of the data it sees, but it doesn't see the full picture. So if you change something on your ads, it can easily just revert it back or make changes yourself, make the performance worse. And worst of all, it doesn't tell you when it's actually doing this. You have to go through the history and find out exactly what is changing. So stick to the plan when you make an ad and turn auto apply off. It's going to waste you money, it's going to make changes you don't know about, and overall just be a nuisance to your account. So the only thing you need to do to turn this off is go to where you see something turned on, click on it, just click off it, for example here, and then just click on save, and you can turn off all your settings. Just make sure you tick everything off. The next thing I recommend turning off are actually two things, and it is found within your campaign settings and then also under networks. And you will see two settings here. You will see search and display network. I recommend you turn both of these off. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to use Google Ads, especially for search ads, to only distribute onto Google, because Google can find its partners, which is different search engines or display ads that you might see on newspaper articles, that sort of thing, and try to push your ads there when normally the returns are a lot worse than people finding it on Google. Especially if you're a service-based business, you want to get rid of these. Sticking on campaign settings, another thing you need to do is go to your locations, because your locations are something that you've probably got on, and a lot of people have put different locations, but the thing you are missing is this location options where you see presence or interest and present. And the reason why you should choose presence only is that presence of interest can actually go to people outside those zones if it thinks people are interested in those zones. For example, you could distribute an ad out live to Germany if they have an interest in places like London, where really they're not going to go for a London-based business, that is service-based business, but because it thinks they are interested in London services, then it'll distribute to them, but it's not always accurate and can easily spend your ad spend on places where you do not want to target. So make sure that you turn this off. And we're sticking with the theme for the next one when it comes to the campaign settings. And one thing you need to turn off as well, I recommend strongly right now, as of summer 2026, is the AI Max for search campaigns. It's one of the things that just doesn't work properly yet, and let me explain. One of the issues I have with AI Max campaigns is that it can take one of your search ads. For example, if you've got a PMax ad live pushing a certain product, it can easily just take that product and start pushing it elsewhere and really mix up the messaging that you're trying to produce on your website. For example, you might be a bath fitter, let's say, and it could easily just push people trying to buy a bath if it's going after them search terms, and cater your ad around buying a bath rather than actually fitting a bath, if you get what I mean. So like I said at the start, just stick to the plan and make sure AI Max is turned off on your ad account. But this is 2026 data and it could have changed in the future. So just have a little Google on what is the next step when it comes to AI Max. Because I do believe one day it'll work very well, but right now let's just avoid it and be safe. And also whilst we're on AI Max as well, sometimes you might not see AI Max turned on for some PMax products, for example, but you might see asset optimization switched on, especially when it comes to PMax. This is, I think it's defaulted to be switched on. I might be wrong about that, but just make sure that you switch this off because it can do the same issues. It can really distribute your ads to audience that you do not want it to go to, and it's easier just turn it off and stick to the initial plan you have set on Google Ads. The next thing we're going to look at is broad keywords, and broad keywords can work very well, but if you've got a very sensitive thing you want to talk about, for example, if I was pushing PPC expert here, if I go for broad match, it goes for anything around PPC. So it could push for meta ads, it could even push for SEO, which it has done before in the past when I've tried broad ads on my own ads. So the thought around this is if you're going after people who are solely interested in PPC specialists and you are not going after people who are interested in different services similar to digital marketing but is not specifically that, make sure that you change your ads to exact keywords and not broad match. And all you need to do for this is go into your keyword settings, see where it says match type and then just switch it to exact match if you're going after that specific term. And I strongly recommend that because, like I said, you can waste a lot of your money, especially early doors when Google doesn't know who your perfect customer is. E-commerce, I've seen it work a little bit better when it comes to broad match because people are searching for different commercial queries, but in terms of service-based businesses, make sure that broad match is turned off on your ads because it can go to a very irrelevant audience, and you want to spend the most of your money as possible going to people who are more likely to go with your service. The next thing is almost like a little a reminder to just check your audience settings as well, because you might not have an audience on, but for example, if I just add an audience here, one thing you need to make sure you're doing is if you have things on observation, perfect, because it can kind of go for that right audience, but make sure you are not using targeting, because targeting really narrows down the path you can go when it comes to your ads, and your ads are probably not likely to spend if that is the case. And it works like, for example, if I was just doing my day-to-day and then I think, okay, I need a PPC specialist to help me out with my Google Ads account, like myself, and I might just search out the blue for Google Ads specialist, and Google doesn't think you are wanting that because it has not recognized that you are interested in that service beforehand. So make sure observation is just on there because it does help out, but it can also just go to them people out of the blue who are searching for a particular service. So make sure you stick it to observation and not targeting. And that is the end of the video. There are just some points that you should turn off when it comes to your Google Ads account. There's probably many others as well that I've missed, but these are the main things I see a lot of times when I am auditing a Google Ads account. And if you're interested in a Google Ads audit, a completely free one, just look in the description and fill out the form below, and I would love to help you out on your Google Ads account. But for next time, please like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and also check out my other videos if you're wanting to learn about Google Ads. Thank you very much.